Hey, welcome to the Xplor podcast with Scott and Ryan. We're a couple guys from Kansas City that like to talk about real estate, investing, entrepreneurship, and a whole lot more. Scott, how you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Feeling a lot better. Sorry for last week. I was out, uh, down and out. So was pretty sick, and it sounds like Ryan, you might be running along that and getting sick yourself right now. So hopefully you don't hit it as hard as I did. And I, you know, just to give you guys an idea how sick I was, my average time on my phone screen time, I got the report Sunday and it said 18 minutes average a day or something, which is absolutely crazy. So slept a lot, feeling a lot better. Still got a little bit of a cough, but I am good. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, my kid's been sick since Thanksgiving. I thought it was going to pass over me, and then yesterday the body ache started. There's a lot going around. The one person that hasn't been sick in my house is the person that is exposed the most, Megan, working at a children's hospital. Um,
How
I don't,
news goes.
yeah, hopefully she doesn't get it, but yeah, we're battling through it right now. So
Well, hopefully you get well soon and everybody's good to go here before long, man.
yeah, so let's hop into it. I thought we'd do something a little different today. I pulled some questions about real estate and investing, just very common questions that are searched on the internet, and I thought we could kind of give our thoughts on them and go from there. So the first question: what is the best thing to invest in 2023? Uh, Now, this is a pretty broad question. So, I mean, you can go into stocks, real estate, bonds, crypto. Scott, you're more, into the crypto space than me, and you might be hopping off for some trading. Is that right?
Yeah, I got a little bit of going on in the markets today. Yeah, expecting a capitulation here before too long. So I'm watching it here on the side actually move pretty heavily. And if something starts moving a way that I'm not looking for it to move, I'm gonna jump over. You might see me move around a little bit and make a few changes on some bets I've got going. But anyway, yeah, what's the best thing to invest in? Obviously, that's I don't know, subjective maybe. Everybody's different. Really depends on your goals, what you're looking to do. I never, I don't want to say never. You really shouldn't invest in anything you don't understand. So just getting in the hot market of the time, like the last a year ago, crypto was extremely hot, and real estate, and just jumping into those because everybody else is not what I would advise at all. I am pretty in tune in several different types of investments. Investing is one of the things that I kind of nerd out on. Financials, just always trying to find opportunities in different ways of making money, understanding how people do what they do, how they've made what they made, and just in general how to invest and follow a lot of big time investment channels and advisors. And one of my favorite guys is Peter Maluk, Creative Planning. Um, Guy's super old school when it comes to investing, at least. Really fun guy actually to hang out with. I sit on a board that he started years ago, and really nice, awesome guy. But he keeps it simple, and they're all about index funds. So for me personally, this is not investment advice by any means, but if you're looking to set your cash long term, which an investment should always be a long term mindset, financial investment especially, um, index funds are about the only thing I put my money into when it comes to the markets. I don't buy mutual funds or any of that. I don't try to play the market much. I might put a little bit of money aside to day trade a little bit and have some fun and just make some bets on my own so I can show it to my advisor and let him know that I outperformed his stuff every once in a while. But I would say 99% of the time, long term, they're outperforming me with their simple basic index funds. And when it comes to real estate, obviously, big into real estate. And I think that it's always a great investment. It's a little bit different than the stock market and index funds where you're able to leverage it. Using leverage to invest it can be dangerous, especially when you're talking about leveraging margin accounts, other things in the stock market. Never leverage, savings that you can't afford to lose. But when it comes to real estate, you really can leverage buying a house by getting bank money, obviously, and I'm sure most people know that. But I've been very fortunate, and I know Ryan has a few rentals, but really understanding financing and understanding investing in real estate, and how you can leverage a mortgage on a house. Everybody seems to think you have to put 20 or 25% down not to have PMI. That's a false statement. You don't have to have 20 to 25% down to get a investment loan either. There's several ways of buying investment real estate. You can actually not even buy the assets. You can just put money into a fund and get a quote unquote guaranteed rate of return, to where you're pitching in on a deal, on a real estate deal that a sponsor is going to go buy, and they're going to promise you a say 8 to 9% return on your money, on however long of a basis you want it to go. You can invest in real estate by buying a single family home. You can invest in early projects before they even get started. You could be an LP, liquidity partner, and get huge returns in certain asset classes. So real estate's obviously one that I am always looking at and interested in. And then for me, I think really, again, not investment advice, but I am a big fan of cryptocurrencies. Certain cryptocurrencies in particular, Bitcoin and Ethereum. All the other ones are pretty high risk. They're all high risk. There's no doubt about it. But if you really understand crypto and you really understand kind of what it's working to do and working towards, I personally think that it does have a future. I don't know what that looks like. Is it going to compete with gold and be the gold standard for crypto? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I do think there is a place and a world where cryptocurrencies will be used across the world. In what capacities, nobody knows for sure. But I am extremely bullish on it. So I will be, as we are in this what we call a bear market, I will be investing a responsible amount of money in crypto as well. So really like to diversify. One of my personal thesis is investing is never more than 20% of one asset class. Never, when I say never more than 20%, I mean 20% of what you have to invest or your net worth. Never put more than 20% into one asset class. So 20% of your net worth into real estate, 20% into the index funds, 20% into crypto, whatever you want it to be. But try to have a good diversified portfolio. Don't go all in on one thing necessarily. You can, but I was very heavy real estate for the last 5 years personally, especially single family. And the last year and a half, I've really put an emphasis on diversifying and not being so over leveraged in single family real estate.
Yeah, and I like how you phrase that. You plan to invest a responsible amount into the crypto. That was nice wording. But a lot of these,
Yeah.
there's a lot of gurus out there that a lot of them say like, you know, you should be all into real estate or all into this and stuff like that. But just with the different markets, you want to have the flexibility and the ability to move your money around. And there's different tax benefits for different ones. Real estate offers a lot of tax benefits,
Yeah.
which investing is, that's something you got to look at. For us, me and my family, we are hoping to get an account rolling with creative planning because I think they have a $50,000 startup to get going. You have to have 50 grand to start. And then we're looking to
Sounds
buy,
maybe right.
yeah. And then we're looking to buy another primary residence in Kansas City. We want to be closer to downtown and stuff like that. So that's our plan. I have some stocks and, Disney and Apple and stuff like that. But I bought it when there's that big dip in the market, but I don't plan on selling them. I'm just going to hang on to them until, for however long.
Yeah,
Um,
one thing that I think a lot of people get confused about is, everybody wants to be an investor in real estate, or everybody wants to be an investor in whatever is cool at the time. And the reality is, you're not an investor unless you're holding long term. And a lot of these guys and these gurus, quote unquote, in real estate, sure, they've had a good couple of years, but that's because we've had the craziest market ever. Same thing with crypto and all these things. There was so much money pumped into everything for the past couple of years since COVID and all the stimulus money, trillions of dollars pumped into every asset class, every system there is. And so everybody's money was pumping until now. Now all the brakes are, screeching and things are happening. I really think the next 12 to 24 months, putting as much money into responsible investments is going to pay off well in the long term. A lot of people are selling right now, and the S&P, it's come back pretty good. I do think we will see it drop. This is just personal. I do think we will see the S&P 500 drop in the next 30 to 60 days, and it will test 3,100 probably again. Now, again, guessing, I could be completely wrong. Hopefully I am. But if that does happen, I've got cash set aside ready to throw it in. So when you do get these massive wins, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to pay capital gains. Oh, for me personally, if I've got 100% return on my money or more, and I've got this huge amount of opportunity to sell at peak prices like the S&P 500 was a year or so ago, like crypto was, all these things, I'm selling, I'm paying the taxes, and I'm going to sit back and be patient because everything is cyclical. Same thing with real estate. We have bought very few homes in the last 2 years just because the prices have been crazy. I've wanted to buy. I always want to buy, but I don't think we've bought maybe 10-ish houses in the last year and a half, 2 years, and a couple of those were 1031s. But everything was just too expensive. And sure, the rates are great, but I don't marry rates. I marry the price I pay for the property. That's what matters. So people that are preaching the marry the rate, that's not the way to think about it when you're investing ever.
yeah,
That's how you get put. That's how you get caught in a trap.
that whole marry the house, date the rate, it's like, I feel like it's such bad advice because you're telling your client this, and it's like you don't know what the rate's going to be in 6 months, a year, whatever. What if it's worse? Like you're just trying to get them to close a deal so you can put some money in your pocket. If
Yeah.
it's right for them, the right time, the right house, sure. Hey, let's go through with this. And like I said, we're going to be looking for a house. So when we start hunting, we can do an update on the podcast to kind of go through my process and how we're doing it. But yeah, the date the rate thing, that's kind of a red flag for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I heard it way too much in the last 12 to 24 months, unfortunately. And I think a lot of people are going to realize that here over the next 12 to 24 months. And then they're going to be stuck in their houses because they paid a little bit too much for the house. Well, now you got a great rate. That's awesome, but you can't get out of the house. So have fun staying there.
Yeah,
And we really do. We have a housing shortage still. The new housing starts are pulling way back. New construction's pulling way back. People are scared right now. There's a lot of hysteria out there, and uh, as all these builders are scared of panicking a little bit and prices are dropping, people are going to wait to build again, which is only going to cause more of a bottleneck over the next couple of years. So, do I think single family is going to collapse? No. Do I think we'll see a pullback? Yes. How much? Nobody knows for sure. 10-20% maybe in the 500 plus. It really depends on where you're at in Kansas City. If you're under 300, it's just going to be hard. Under 300,000, it's going to be hard to really pull back 20%. I mean, maybe 10%. I don't know, but there's just so much institutional money. So unless one of those big institutions like a Blackstone or one of these big guys, Cerberus, First Key, whatever else, unless one of them fall apart and something happens and they just completely collapse, I just don't know how the market can drop that much under in the new our first time home buyer category, which I would consider Kansas City under 300 ish. I would feel like it's a pretty safe investment. It's probably going to drop a little bit, but if you find a good opportunity there, just buy the house. Go. Who cares what the rate is right now? Um, See, that's a complete opposite look. Is I'm always buying in looking at what the house costs and what the return on that is versus what the return on the rate is. Because if the rate will work, just do it if it's
Yeah.
a good deal.
Well, and like you said, it's a good investment if you plan to buy it and you know flip it in 2 years and make a bunch of money. That might not happen. You saying
Yeah,
investing, plan on being there or owning it or renting it. Like we talked a couple podcasts ago, having different strategies and stuff to either renting it or Airbnb. That was the Airbnb
yeah,
episode that we kind of went in on short term rentals. Um,
exactly.
but yeah, the whole I'm gonna buy a house in 6 months, 8 months, sell it for way more. I think
People got to get out of that mindset.
yeah, it's not.
That's come and gone, and there might be some opportunities for that still. But the reality is, a lot of people have got caught up in that over the last 2 years, and they're going to get smacked with reality pretty quick because that's not going to continue to happen.
Yeah. So all right, let's move on to the next question. I feel like it relates kind of. We're talking about new home buyers and stuff. So new agents, if you were a new agent in 2023, what would your plan be or your focus going into the year?
Yeah, anytime you're new into anything, I'm really big on you really got to invest in yourself. So stick to the investment theme here. Investing in education, investing in um, learning as much as you can about a market, going to as much training, getting a coach. I'm big on coaches in every aspect of my life. I've got health coaches, I've got training coaches for triathlons, I got business coaches, therapists for the mental side of things, everything. I think everybody should. And so investing in yourself, really learning and educating yourself on everything you can possibly know about the market that you want to be in. And then getting a mentor, putting yourself around people that are successful is always big because then you start hearing how they talk, walking like they walk, doing what they do. And obviously, success breeds success. So, for me, I always put myself around others that are super successful and that I want to be like so that I can learn from them, offer help. And I've worked for free many, many times in my life because I know at the end of the day, if I'm working, improving myself, number one, I'm learning, but number two, opportunities come from that. And the I always offer to work for free when I want to learn something or grow into a market that I'm unfamiliar with. It's, hey, let me prove myself by helping you with whatever you need help with, because I'm sure you need some different things that you just can't keep up with. So let me do this for you for free. If you want to pay me at the end of the day, great, whatever, but I don't expect any money. The money that I'm being paid is the knowledge and the education that I'm getting from the opportunity to work with you and learn from you. And that's really how I got started in real estate myself. So investing in yourself, learning from other successful people, and then really, really, really going all in and working in social media, working on podcasts, creating content. Content is huge. We sit here and talk about it all the time. We fail at it constantly. It is hard. It is not easy. But if you really want to be successful, it's only going to get harder and harder as all these algorithms and platforms figure things out, are more expensive. But content is big. So if you have no business going on, all you should be doing is creating content and learning about a market. The riches are in the niches. I am a true believer in that. You can make a lot of money if you have a very unique niche, or just a niche that's all you do. Like, this one thing so well, or this one consumers so well that you own that market or that neighborhood, or like it doesn't matter, just a certain type of house or a certain area or a certain school district. But if you know everything about that, it might take a little bit of time, but once that gets rolling, trust me, that train ain't stopping. So really getting niched and figuring out something so well that you are the go-to person for that. Even if it's a small area, who cares? You are the person, and then you go to the next thing, and then you go to the next thing. And yeah, you can take these one-off clients that might call from here or there, but if you're just providing content and that value, people are going to find you. People are going to see you. And don't be out there selling as an agent. Be out there truly helping and providing
Educating.
value in other ways, educating people, or showing up to um, showing up to school events and just helping, getting your face in front of people, go meet people, network. The more people you know, the better. Like sitting in an office, playing on your phone isn't going to do anything. Get out there, introduce yourself, get into network groups. I know it can be boring and miserable sometimes, but that is how you are going to succeed. And it's not going to necessarily happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but just work hard. There's still a ton of opportunity in this real estate world. It's getting harder and harder as things slow down a little bit, and as we are way overpopulated with agents. But the good people will make it through it and take market share and continue to thrive.
Yeah, and I think going forward, and this isn't just agents, I feel like a majority of businesses, but we'll focus on the agent piece. Like you said, getting to be an expert in an area that you like, that you enjoy, and then portraying your knowledge through this, which I think there needs to be more courses out there, how to show people, you know, it's an art. Being able to show your knowledge through social media and people enjoy watching it, like it's not an easy task. And like you said, it's repetition is
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing. Um, I kind of geek out on the video production and stuff like that. Um, Podcasts, this is kind of our first one
He
to
just
get.
hasn't geeked out on the content. We're always having to scramble to find stuff, but we know this stuff pretty well, so it's easy to talk about. But sometimes it's like, hey, what are we talking about today? Oh, I don't know. Let's just chat about this. And it's like, okay, we could do that in 2 seconds. We don't need to look anything up. Which honestly, guys, and sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
No,
The
you're good.
thing is, like, we're able to do that because we do know this market so well, and we do know what we do. I mean, top 1% by far in the market. I would assume, maybe not, but we we are very well versed. Have been doing this for several years now, not near as long as some people, but I would put us up against the best of the best in Kansas City in real estate.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward, kind of seeing how everything plays out. With we're starting to go more in on content. We did the Explore KC stuff. We brought that up before. I think that was
Man, that was fun.
a lot of fun, really smart move, and that's the kind of content that like people want to see. And then kind
Yeah.
of blending that in with like our real estate knowledge to show people that we're the professionals. I think that's what's going to separate agents who are going to be long term, and then people that aren't. I mean, you can knock on doors, you can
Yeah.
get business. You used to bang on doors all day, and you grew a lot when you're a single agent that way.
Hustle will always win. Hustle will always make you money. It just gets exhausting after a while. So doing these other things outside of knocking on doors and the hustle and bustle when you first start, that's what creates long-term sustainability and true money at the end of the day. And again, people can feed through the BS. The reality is, like, again, we aren't researching this stuff. Like, we might research a few questions to ask or a few things just to talk about quickly, but then it's within a minute we're like, all right, let's shoot this thing, let's start recording. We're not having to go and spend hours to find stuff to talk about or to learn about something and then come talk about it. People can see straight through that, and that's one thing that we used to talk about. Oh, we should try to do this or try to do that. It's like, you know what, why don't we just do what we know, and we'll find our way, we'll find our path. But the reality is, just start putting stuff out there, and providing good value, good content. And if nobody likes it, whatever, at some point, hopefully somebody likes something we have to say, or hopefully we can really help one person, even, is all that matters. Um, but just go out there, figure out what you enjoy, what you want to help with, help others understand, and go do it. Learn about it, be the master of it, and provide that content and that value. Things will pay off. It might take time. It might be your 100th episode before anybody hears you. I don't even know how many people have heard any of our stuff, maybe zero, but we're going to keep doing it because at some point, I hope somebody hears it and this helps one person out there, even, is all that matters. Plus, it's good for us. It keeps us on our toes, keeps us thinking in different ways, really try to be as centered as possible when it comes to topics, or, you know, what our thoughts are, our ideas are, and things, and really bringing in other opinions, other industries, other professionals to talk and help us understand what they're doing, why they're doing, and just, again, provide that value for our listeners.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go to the next questions. Will real estate agents become extinct? I'll start on this one. I think it's kind of interesting. It's always the talk. And I do see the appeal to sell your house by yourself with all the new websites and everything like that, all the resources and all the stuff you can get on your own just from the internet. Uh, I think a big holdup is there. If you're a buyer, you might as well use an agent. There's so many more benefits, especially if it's your first or second home. You don't really know what you're doing. And then on the flip side of that, there's, you know, if you're a for sale by owner, a buyer agent's going to want 3%. Um, and then you do the math and it makes sense to hire a listing agent maybe. Do I think they'll go extinct? No. There's always going to be new home buyers. There's always going to be a second home buyer that the last time they bought a house was 10 years ago. And with that big of a purchase, you don't want to overspend, get a crazy rate that, you know, it's going to put you in a bind, buy a house that is a mess and, you know, the basement floods every 4 weeks or something, but, you know, an
Mhm.
agent can, you know, it wasn't disclosed or whatever. So I don't think they'll be extinct. I think there's going to be a shift in what agent's role is maybe, but overall, I think they're going to be around. It's just going to be a different game with the
Yeah.
tech.
So, yeah, I mean, tech is a disruptor, and I really live by one motto, and it really applies to every aspect of life, in my opinion. And it's just, the path is in the math, and the reality is, what I mean by that is the math shows that people want to use agents, plain and simple. Okay, but with the caveat of, it's the same thing as every industry. Tech is a disruptor. Tech is going to change the way that things are done. Um, it's the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the agents are doing 80% of the business. So the other 80% of the agents doing 20% of the business, that's who they're going after. Um, so if you're a true professional in this field, the 20%, you're going to be all right. I mean, and there's always opportunity to come in and crush it and be part of that 20%. But the people that are just doing it as a side hustle, or, oh, I'm going to keep my license so I can sell one or two a year, those are the people that are going to get, kicked out. The reality is this industry is changing significantly. iBuyers are a real thing. We're seeing right now, iBuyers are getting kind of canceled across the board. Zillow, Open Door, all these companies are losing their butt, but they'll figure it out. I mean, look, the tech industry, people flood so much money into that and don't make profits for 10, 20 years and still just keep throwing money. It's just absurd to me how it works. But at some point, and we're seeing it now, that comes to a halt, and you can't just continue forward without making money. But whoever does figure it out, and there are some companies out there that are figuring it out, they're gonna prevail. They're gonna take over. I think it will be some time. There is a place for iBuyers as well, though. So the reality is there are some properties that they can get down to a science and they can figure out, and they know, after so many cycles of this house being sold through the iBuyer system and all the data being put into something, it's going to happen. And the reality is the blockchain, crypto is going to change the way real estate is done. Title companies, I mean, real estate companies, everybody better be getting serious about the blockchain, because the reality is in the next 10, 20 years, it's coming, and that's going to change the way things are done. It's going to change the way title work is done, in my opinion. It's going to change the way everything is tracked. There's some really cool innovation happening with the blockchain in real estate and property right now, with no regulation and all the issues with crypto and not having SEC regulations, and just not even having a path forward of yes, you can do this, no, you can't do this. That makes it very difficult. But there are companies already building huge platforms for the blockchain, for real estate, and trust me, it's going to change the way things are done. I've seen a lot of it going from day one and kind of how it started. It is cool what's happening right now. I hope to be on the forefront of a few of those personally. And am working with a few different organizations that are trying to implement some blockchain stuff into real estate. So it's been pretty neat. But yes, I do think real estate agents will always be here. People want a professional. If you work with a true professional, I promise you're not one of those people saying, "Oh, real estate agents are overpaid," or "real estate agents are this or that." Like, sure, real estate agents are paid very well. Is there a question about that? In my opinion, no. A lot of real estate agents are overpaid. That's just my personal take. It's crazy what some people can make in this business and not be trained. They can go to a couple hours of a class, take a test, and go. That's not a professional, though. People that are very good at an indie industry can be overpaid, if you want to say that. If you really look at how things are broke down. But the reality is, you pay for what you get. And, when we work with the client, we try to make sure that we go above and beyond in many ways. And it's not just selling you a house. There's a lot of other things that go into play there. And just our knowledge of the industry, our knowledge of construction, our knowledge of a house, we are saving clients a lot of headaches, a lot of money, or making them a lot of money because of things that we're able to point out and say, hey, somebody's missing. This thing's worth way more, or whatever else. Like, buy this house or else I'm going to. Some clients laugh and think that's a joke, but that's just serious. And I've done it many times. Always let them buy it first. Never take it out of their hands. But I always tell them, if you don't buy it, I am buying this house. And they think I'm kidding sometimes. So it's kind of funny. But no, real estate agents will be here for the long term, but it will shift.
So you think title companies are the one under the gun?
You know, long story short, real estate is one of the slowest. Real estate and the government move pretty similar in line. They are very slow at adapting to change. But real estate's, I believe the biggest asset class in the world. Like, it's huge. So it's hard for change to happen. But yes, I do believe title companies are some of the most outdated companies. Now, not all of them, and I'm not trying to jab them by any means, but the way that we do title work and the way that we do that is so old school. It's adapted a little bit. COVID helped it adapt actually pretty quickly to where we could finally do some e-signature stuff during COVID, and some things changed there. But before that, everything was so old school, blue pen. I mean, it's crazy with the technology we have today that we're having to do some of the things that we have to do with real estate and title work. I think if title companies aren't looking at the blockchain, they're going to be left behind.
Yeah, and
I know there are some other companies out there doing it, and it will change the way that we do business.
yeah, well, with the advances in um, you know encryption and the blockchain and everything like that, I think it's still crazy that you have to line up all these parties to close at the same time and be in one place and stuff like that. Like, we're getting to a point now where, like you said, there are some e-signature stuff you can do. I feel like hopefully soon it closing should be a much easier process with how advanced we are in other
Yeah, and it's not
industries.
just that. Even there's a lot of other things that go into play, like we won't get into a rabbit hole here, but think about the blockchain in this aspect. So really what the blockchain is doing is it's a platform for recording data, I guess, in simple terms. I'm not the best at explaining it, but what it'll do is it'll track everything. So instead of having to go to your courthouse to look at all the deeds, all the title work, everything of how this thing has moved, I can now get on the blockchain and see everything that's happened with this house. Hopefully, at some point, we will also be able to see maintenance records. We'll be able to see everything, how it's traded, when it's traded, when the filter was updated. The companies that are working on that stuff is pretty cool. I'm involved on some of it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
So will it be basically like a Carfax for a house?
Yeah,
That'd be sweet. I mean,
essentially.
knowing how people
Yep.
maintained and stuff like that, that would be
Yes, think
great
about that when you're
knowledge.
talking about flippers or whatever else. Like,
Oh,
you know, everything before that flipper bought it, like what was going on with it, all the reports that people that have come in will be on the blockchain. Like, you can't change it, you can't get rid of it. Everything is there. As a property management company, that's huge because now everything is systemized even better. Where it's like, oh, hey, we have every single record on this blockchain, so now we know when we need to change the filter. We know when we need to do this. We know when we do this. Insurance company is going to be able to use it to their advantage as well because everything will be in one spot. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
no, that's going to save you so much time. Think of you're an investor looking at a house, you pull up the file, the house facts on this property, you're going to be able to tell in 30 minutes to an hour, should I keep pursuing this or
Yep.
is the owner out of his mind on the price? Like, it's, I mean, that's going to be
It'll
awesome
be
for
cool.
even for agents and stuff. It's, hey, I'm going to send you, I'm sure you're going to have to pay to be able to access this stuff, but that'll, agents, I'm sure will have, a open door to that. Be like, hey, I'm going to send you over the house facts and you can look through them instead of just the disclosure that the seller fills out that they only know to their knowledge. You're going to be able to see from the however many owners back, right? Just like a Carfax.
That's
So
the idea. We'll
that's
see.
that's
We'll see what
awesome.
happens.
Well, it's exciting. Do you want to go into the Elon Musk and Twitter stuff? That's kind of interesting.
I don't know. I don't think we need to on this one right now.
All right, we'll cut that. You
We could
good?
do that another time. Yeah, I think we're good here. I don't think we're good. Let's keep this thing short and sweet. It's not really short. This is a pretty long episode. So let's go ahead and cut this one and we can talk
Yeah.
about that next time around. And appreciate you guys again. At the end of the day, if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, if you'd like to come on the podcast and chat, please hit us up. Ryan, where's the best place to contact us?
Uh, Probably at our email. You can email me or actually Instagram. Just DM us. That's probably going to be the easiest. Or Twitter. Reach out to one of our Twitters. I always put our links in the description, so you can just tap the link. It'll go to. If you pick Scott, you can DM him, or if you pick me, you can DM me. That's going to be the easiest.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. We will continue on and hope to have some of you guys join us here before too long.
All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Have a good one.